Hey guys, it's Dante Nelson, lighting designer of the ALF Lighting Crew. And as you can see, we're looking at the handbook today. And I just wanted to show you some of the safety standards that we have um, that I've set up for the lighting crew. And it's designed for lighting safety, but I think, in any kind of setting, film setting, theater, stage setting, I think you can still use these standards to be safe. So I'll go ahead and get started. And, so yeah, this is the intro. And one thing I want to highlight is here: if it cannot be done safely, it cannot be done. And that's kind of the number one rule that I have about lighting. Um, there's I have no problem rejecting a project if I deem it unsafe. There's no, well, let's try it out and see, because all it takes is doing it once the wrong way and someone gets hurt or worse. So, I don't do that. If it can't be done safely, it just can't be done. So that's it. As you can see, the people allowed to advise of what to do are the lighting designer, master electrician, and house electrician. And the house electrician, yeah, as you can see. Okay. So I'm the lighting designer and the master electrician. It just so happens I'm both of these roles. It's the master electrician's job to create the safety standards. So, whoever the eventual master electrician is, that person will be in charge of creating these and maintaining and doing the research and keeping up with protocol and the different laws and all of that kind of stuff. Um, so we deal with the different risks of lighting. You can get electrocuted, you can have stuff fall on you, and there can be fires. So there's a lot to worry about in that sense, but if you do things the right way, you're not going to run into that kind of stuff often. And when you do, you'll know what to do about it. So these are the tools that we use to rig equipment, and rigging is just another word basically for securing, hanging, those kind of words. So rigging equipment, we use gaffer's tape, pipe clamps, safety cables, and sandbags. So you have those four elements there, and they work together to ensure that, especially for falling equipment, make sure that nothing falls on anybody. Now, I do have one major rule, as you can see, and that is under no circumstances anyone other than trained members of the crew allowed to touch the equipment in any way. And so that's basically I offer two reasons why. Someone could get hurt, and this stuff is expensive. And as you can see, there's some reasoning behind both. But the main reasoning behind both of those is that people that aren't trained, they don't know what they're doing with the equipment. So then you end up in a scenario where someone's touching it and they could damage the equipment or they could damage themselves. And so it's better if you only allow people that are certified to touch and handle and work this stuff to, be dealing with it. Or, someone who's training but supervised training by someone who's already been trained. So, you got that kind of stuff. Um, and it makes sense. It just makes sense that you're not part of the crew, you haven't been trained, you can't touch it, you can't be a part of it. So that's the one major rule. Um, and then what to do if something happens. So, things happen, people get hurt. And so I want to create a few guidelines just to guide the crew on what they should do when a crisis first strikes. Um, I didn't write down what kind of crises there are. fire, someone gets hurt, I didn't write that kind of stuff down. I just wrote the the beginning steps um, of handling a crisis, any crisis. And the first thing you do is notify the lighting designer, master electrician, or house electrician. So LD, master LX, or house LX. And then you have to pray. Now, this crew that I run, we're a church crew, we're ministry. And so there is that kind of Christian, godly element that we have. You may not follow that, but that's what we do here at Abundant Life on the ALF Lighting Crew. And then, of course, remain calm because we don't want anybody freaking out and stressing, because then you're causing more problems than solving. Act swiftly, take a breath, just breathe, relax. Don't touch anything that appears to be smoking, giving off sparks, or on fire. Cords, cables, pieces, yada yada yada, off limits. If it looks like it's gonna hurt you, basically. If a crew member suffers an injury, you notify the LD, Master LX, and or House LX immediately. Don't touch the crew member. And I did that because, especially with electrocution, if that person's been electrocuted, and for if they still have the current going through them or something, you end up getting electrocuted. But then there's also some bodily injuries where you shouldn't move the person. Just you don't move the person. So I just don't touch, don't do anything. Let's wait until help arrives and we can assess the situation. Okay. As you can see, there's a lot of bullet points here. Extension cord and power strip safety. Now, a lot of people, including myself, have broken this rule, some of these rules in here, and maybe even currently doing it. But this is what it's about, and this is how you're supposed to deal with extension cords and power strips, at least in the lighting world and theater and film sets and all of that. So we're gonna go through these. Hang in there. Power strips cannot go into other power strips and or extension cords. Also, nothing is to go between a power strip and outlet, not even adapters and the like. So you see how like that, those outlets there, okay, you could put a power strip in there, but you can't put an adapter in there and then put the power strip inside of the adapter, which is going inside the outlet. Also, like I said, power strips can't go into other power strips and or extension cords. Now, extension cords can go inside of power strips, but power strips cannot go inside extension cords. So for instance, you can't say power strip connects into extension cord, connects into outlet. Can't do that. Extension cords cannot be taped, covered with a matte rug, or nails stapled in any way on any surface. We got to think that the cord needs to be able to breathe, but you can use gaffer's tape. And so, because extension cords can overheat, and with the overheating, obviously, it produces a fire hazard. So we want to leave that alone. Extension cords cannot run through doorways. One major reason is high traffic. Another reason is that the cords could get pinched when trying to close a door, and therefore making the extension cord not only less effective, but greater risk of fire hazard. So it's kind of self-explanatory. You don't want to do that. Extension cords cannot go into extension cords, so you can't daisy chain extension cords. This means essentially we can only use one extension cord per fixture. There is a way to control more than one fixture with just one cord though. Using a multiple outlet extension cord will work fine. This one, I did not know this one. This one I had learned. The thickness of the extension cord must not be less than the thickness of the appliance's cord being used with it. The reason behind this is that the size of a cord factors in on the usage of power. If a follow spot has a large cable, that means it uses a great deal of power. If you use a smaller extension cord, all of that power has to now squeeze through a smaller cord, and then you run the risk of the cord wearing out, which can lead to cords catching on fire, and you know the rest. Don't worry, the bullet points get a lot shorter going on. Extension cords cannot be used if they are torn in any way. The wires within the cord are exposed and become a fire hazard. You cannot try to repair the cords in any way, such as with tape. Not only fire hazard, I should update this, but also they're exposed. You touch the wire while it's operating, you catch that circuit, you can get electrocuted. You gotta be careful of that. A power strip's casing should be plastic, not metal. I read this on at a few places. I'm guessing if it's metal, it's less likely to conduct electricity versus plastic, but I mean both. I don't know. Only one power strip should be plugged into a single duplex electrical outlet at a time. So that's what we call a single duplex electrical outlet. So you can only have one power strip in there at a time. So you can't use power strips for both of those outlets there. And I think that makes sense because you got all kinds of appliances plugged into that one power strip, so it's pulling all of that power. If you were to do it again with another power strip, you're pulling a lot of power that that outlet probably can't manage. So let's focus here. Uncoil long cords when in use to avoid overheating. So that just means bring out the cord, the entire cord, unroll the entire cord, make sure that it's all out of its roller or whatever, and obviously to avoid overheating. We have a few more, or a couple more. There should be no exposed cords and cables in the general public. This is the congregational area on the floor and in the balcony. So basically, that means that anywhere that people are walking, that you cannot put cords there. So that's why you gotta either bust down the wall and go through the wall, or you gotta really hug the wall, to avoid people tripping. And we must limit the usage of extension cords and focus on plugging items in using the built-in power cable and the nearest possible outlet. If this cannot be done, use the shortest extension cord possible. The more cords you have, the more likely someone's going to trip. So we want to use the shortest extension cord possible if we can't use the power cable itself. And when you think about it, like with this, you have to unravel all of the cords. So if you got a 100-footer and you're trying to cover 25 feet, it doesn't make sense. So that's why I say, go ahead and use the shortest extension cord possible. It'll avoid trip hazard and a big jump mess of cord lying around and all of that. Rigging equipment. I already talked about this a little bit earlier with the tape and the clamp and the cable and all of that. So we use gaffer's tape mainly to tape down power and extension cords. That's pretty much its main job. It can tape down any kind of equipment. Next are pipe clamps. You connect it to the fixture like a par and connect it to the stand, truss system pipe, or whatever else you want the fixture to hang from. So that's pretty much clamp. Safety cables are in case a clamp fails for whatever reason. And so, it'll loop through the fixture and the clamp and whatever the fixture is hanging from. Also, a safety cable ends up being used in the form of catching a falling piece of equipment. It has to be replaced. It's basically one and done for a safety cable. Sandbags serve as anchors. So you place them at the feet of a lighting stand and other stuff to prevent a stand from tipping over. The heavier the bag, the better the anchor. But also you want to spread out your legs of your stand as wide as possible. You know, if you got something like this, it's easy to tip over versus if you got something like this, it's harder. So you want to keep that in mind as well. And I'm going to show you some live demonstrations of this stuff after I'm done with the rest of the video here, the book. Anyway, clothing. You want to wear cargo pants, jeans can work. Just wear any kind of tough pants that are going to hug your body to protect your skin. And, you know, just, yeah, that's pretty much it. You want to wear boots. You do want to wear boots, steel toe, but anything that's not open toe is fine. So no sandals, no flip-flops, none of that. No, can't. Something could fall on your foot, and well, if you want to, you know, you want a 50-pound light on your foot, then you know, good for you. I'm going to be keeping it safe. I got sneakers, but I do have some boots in my possession as well. So, this point should probably be taken out actually. I say wear long sleeve shirts just because protect your skin once again from scrapes, burns, and things like that. But I've read other places where you wear long sleeve shirts, the stuff could get caught in some stuff, whatever. It's up to you. When handling studio lighting, it's important to wear cowhide leather gloves while handling lamps that have been in operation. So, you know, if it ain't LED, it's the halogen or whatever, the fluorescent, that stuff gets hot. And so you need some tough gloves where you can handle operating the equipment and not likely get burnt. And we're not talking about touching the bowl, we're talking about touching like the casing of it, because you might have to adjust it during shooting or whatever. So you need something that will protect your hands while you do that. And then we have other safety rules. You are never to be alone with a ladder. Someone must be around to hold the ladder while you climb. You must not place items on the top of the ladder or step on the ladder. It could fall and hurt someone. If the ladder has a tray designed for tool placement, that is fine to use. In reference to previous point, you must not leave a ladder unattended if it does have items on it. Someone may not realize this, attempt to move it, and the item would fall, potentially causing injury. If the ladder seems damaged, don't use it. Don't let anything block a fire exit. Know where the fire extinguishers are in church. Now, I want to go back to this point real quick. So, unfortunately, people don't think. So they just grab a ladder and just keep walking. You gotta make things idiot proof because, you know, I mean, me, before I move a ladder, I check. You know what I mean? That's just second nature to me. But some people don't think like that. So they get hurt. And people have been sued, I'm pretty sure. So that's why we got that here. So that's about it. Yeah, that's it for all the safety standards of the book. So I wanted to go ahead and show you some of the tools that we have, some of the supplies that we have that make this, make all this happen here at the church, how I use things, if you will. It's a little dark in here, so I'm gonna quickly turn on the lights for you, so just excuse me while I run. Okay. Much better. I just flipped on one switch. We don't have to, all that nonsense. So the first thing I want to show you is the pipe clamp, the safety cable, and actually the pipe clamp and the safety cable. I want you guys to see a live look at how that works. You can kind of get an idea of how it should be set up. Now, I didn't do this setup myself. That's probably why it was a good job. No, but so just take a look here, right? So you got your fixture, your clamp, and then the safety cable. And this is what it would typically look like when you set things up. So you're gonna have that secure connection here on your pipe. But if that doesn't work, you see how the cable goes around the fixture and around the pipe. So if this fails, this is supposed to hold this up. And as you can see, we're right above seats. People can get hurt. But even if we weren't above seats, you still want to hook that up. Now these are, so these are some good clamps. I think there's different versions. There's like a U clamp and a C clamp. But I'm not entirely sure about the names. Just get a clamp, So that's a live demonstration of that. I show you some gaffer's tape as well that we have. We've got two of them. We've got a white one and we got a black one. I like using the black ones on stage, less noticeable, tries to blend in, especially, when you have the lights off during maybe a production, a play or something. So use black when you don't want to be noticed, and then you can use white on other things. Like here, this is gaffer's tape. We used it to label our faders for different colors. But ideally you want to tape down power cords and all that kind of stuff. I want to show you some sandbags. So these are the follow spots. These are the stands, and then you have your sandbags. Now these are 20 pounds each. So, not too heavy, but you see I'm trying to, you're getting a shake out of it, but it's gonna take a lot for you to knock this over. So those are just some of the ways that, I attempt to keep things safe, keep fixtures from collapsing and all of that. So you don't want to go cheap with safety. I think that's the main thing. Do not go cheap on safety. I'm not gonna say go expensive, but I'm gonna say, get some really high quality stuff. High quality may be cheap, but you want to get very good quality products, because being safe is the smartest investment you can make when doing anything. And it'd be a real shame if, you think about it. The money that you got to pay the lawyer to defend you with the upcoming lawsuit and all of that, versus just invest in some safety equipment and be done with it. High quality safety equipment. You're done. So, one more thing. So remember, you can't do anything with a single duplex outlet. Now this isn't a single duplex outlet, and my research has shown that because these are power strips, and so far I haven't found anything that says I can't do this, because this obviously isn't a single duplex. but I'm still researching, and I'm always keeping up with everything and making sure that I'm doing it the right way. But if I find that this is set up wrong, I'll let you guys know. But and here's another example. Now, that's more of an adapter type of outlet, you know, but that's still okay because there's no power strip going into it, and that's a typical one, the single duplex outlet. It's you got to be careful about overpowering your building's capacity and all of that, and you got to make sure that your wiring in the walls and everything is okay and all of that kind of stuff. Because if you do it cheap in the walls, you're all messed up. And but I'm not a carpenter, electrician, all that, and I'm not, I don't get involved with all that. I'm just a lighting guy. I'll plug it in for you. But I can't tell you if it's right or wrong. All right, so yeah, that's about it for the safety stuff. Let me know if you got any questions about anything that I said, or if you have some corrections you want to send my way about what I wrote. Because I want to be right. I want to be safe. I don't have any pride. If I'm wrong, please let me know. We have an electrician. I've consulted a professional, and as well as doing research and everything. So everything that I wrote was given the okay by the fire marshal and the electrician that we have on staff. But let me know, because I might have missed something. And I know some things are like local. New Jersey might do different things than Pennsylvania and all of that. So, but yeah, let me know. And I guess I'll wrap it up with some social media stuff real quick. ALF Lighting Crew on Twitter and Instagram, both at ALF Lighting Crew. You can follow us on, I guess you can on Facebook, like us on Facebook, add us on Google Plus if you want, if you feel like it. We're not on there that often, so I couldn't tell you to do it. Also, check out our blog, alflighting.wordpress.com. That'll get you some nice information about the crew and what we're about and our story and all of that. So it should be in the links. It should be in the links. It should be links in the description area if you're watching on YouTube. If you're watching from our blog, you're already at our blog. If you're watching from social media, you're already on social media. So, but yeah, that's about it. Keep shining and stay safe.